see what you got. What you going to do? That's all.
Hey guys, welcome back to the most amazing top 5. I'm Court McGinley. Let's jump right into our list of the top 5 scary people you should never Google. Starting off at our number 5 spot, Ring Girl, aka Samara. This girl with the long white dress, long gangly hair, and demonic face were all people could talk about after seeing the movie The Ring. She became an iconic character in horror movies and is definitely someone you don't want to Google. If you Google her, you're just going to come across a lot of terrifying pictures and you're going to have a hard time sleeping. It also didn't help that this movie was released with so much hype around it. After people saw this movie, they referred to it as this generation's Exorcist due to how scary it was. I remember for my 12th or 13th birthday, we rented this movie for a sleepover. Yes, back in the day, we would go to a store and rent movies. It was a whole thing. Anyway, so we rented it and I remember it being really creepy. And it actually had a really messed up backstory with it as well. But aside from all of that, the way that they made this character of a little girl look as scary as they did was really impressive and iconic. Especially seeing as they still use this look in many other horror movies to this day. Grudge Girl in the Mirror. So it turns out there's a video clip out there that's based off of the Japanese and American legend that is the Grudge Girl. If you Google her and check out this clip, it said that later this girl will appear in your mirror and attack you. She peeps at you from the mirror very abruptly, and it's very terrifying. This girl is very realistic. She peers at you through your mirror and then reaches out and scratches your eyes out. Yeah, no thanks, not about that. At number 3, Henry Lee Lucas. This man is known as America's most prolific serial killer, and the facts that back up this title are unbelievably terrifying. It's said that he has killed at least 350 people in a 20-year time span. What's really bizarre is that he actually incriminated himself even more by admitting to killing over 600 people. Before all these killings came to light, Lucas was sent to prison in 1960 for killing his mother. 10 years later in 1970, he was released due to overcrowding. Yeah, it might just be me, but in my opinion, if a jail is overcrowded, you don't just go and let all of the murderers out, especially the ones who are capable of killing their own mother. After his release, he became a drifter and became friends with a man named Otis Toole. Otis later became his accomplice for over 100 murders. Lucas went back to jail yet again after he tried to kidnap a 15-year-old girl. He was then released in 1975. Then he killed 2 more women and yet again went to jail in 1983. It was at this time that he confessed to murdering hundreds of people. Finally, after his confession, Lucas sat on death row and was later charged to life in prison. He died in a Texas prison on March 12, 2001 from natural causes. Coming in at number 2, Mary Florabelle. I've talked about this girl before, but oh my god, is she ever scary. So when Mary Florabelle was just 11 years old, she was apprehended by authorities and told them that she strangled a 4-year-old to death. When asked why she would do such a thing, she replied by saying that she did it solely for the pleasure and excitement of killing. This was in 1968. Then a few months later, a 3-year-old suffered the same fate. She even later returned to the 3-year-old's body and carved an M into his stomach. At first, 2 other girls were charged for the deaths of these 2 young boys. But eventually authorities locked up Mary Bell, who now at this point already had a history of attacking other children. Years later, at the age of 23, Mary Bell was released from prison, and she was given a new identity. 4 years later, she had a daughter. She later won a court ruling to protect her identity and her daughters, as well as any possible grandchildren. So currently, right now, she would be around 61 years old, and she could be anywhere. She could currently be your elderly next-door neighbor, and you wouldn't even know it. And in at number 1, Armin Arman. This story starts off with a place called Cannibal Cafe, which you might recognize from our scary deep web stories video. Armin is known as the Rottenburg Cannibal or the Master Butcher. He went on the Cannibal Cafe site to try and find a willing volunteer to be slaughtered and then consumed. Yeah, I wish I was making this up, but it's true. Quite a few people responded to this ad but ended up backing out. Then a few weeks later in March of 2001, an engineer from Berlin named Bernd Brands replied. The two then met up on March 9th in Armin's home. These 2 men decided to make a home video of their experience. Brands took 20 sleeping pills and a bottle of cough syrup. Then Armin amputated Brands' penis. What makes this even more twisted is that this amputation was at Brands' request, and Brands actually asked Armin to bite his penis off instead of using any tools. So Armin tried, but apparently it was too chewy. So he used a knife to cut off the appendage, and then the 2 men attempted to eat it together. Yes, this man attempted to eat his own penis, but again, it was too chewy. So Armin fired it up with some salt, pepper, wine, and garlic, but it ended up burning, so he just fed it to his dog. And all of this time, Brands was bleeding out. Armin then said a prayer and stabbed Brands in the throat, and then he hung his lifeless body on a meat hook. Armin then chopped up Brands' body, and over the course of 10 months, he slowly continued to eat it before being caught by authorities. He was arrested in 2002 when a college student alerted authorities to new advertisements for victims online. Investigators searched his home and found body parts and the videotape of the killing. Alright, and there you go, that's the list of the top 5 scary people you should never Google. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what other lists you'd like to see down below. Don't forget to show us some love by subscribing to our channel and giving this video a big thumbs up, and I'll catch all of you in the next one.